known this afternoon to the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Dylan Woodcock. The awarding of the rank of the Eagle Scout is an important and serious matter. It is the climax and goal for which Dylan has been working on for many years. It's the culmination of the various efforts of leaders, family, and friends of the Scout. It is an occasion for the pride and joy and a time for serious contemplation. We realize this is the highest and most coveted rank in all of Scouting. It is the last major step in the advancement program. If we have not achieved our purpose in the building of character, the training of leadership, and the practice of service, we probably never shall. We will begin our ceremony this afternoon with the presentation of the colors. Will Senior Patrol Leader Dylan Woodcock please lead us in the presentation of the colors?
Scott's attention. The audience please rise for the playing of the Star Spangled Banner. Color Guard, advance the colors. Guard, halt. Color Guard, post the colors. Will those not in uniform please place their right hand over your heart, and will the audience please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Scouts, please remain standing for the Scout Oath and Law. Audience may be seated. Scout sign. Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God of my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Will members of the audience that know the Sea Scout promise please join me in the Sea Scout promise? As a Sea Scout, I promise to do my best to guard against water accidents, to know the location and proper use of all life-saving devices on every boat I board, to be prepared to render aid to those in need, to let those less able come first. 2. Audience may be seated.
Thank you.
Color Guard, return to
Color
ranks.
Guard, return to ranks. It is my pleasure at this time to introduce Parker Hembry to lead us in our opening prayer.
I didn't know about this. It's not written down. Make something up.
The Scout is reverent.
Let us pray.
Thank you for letting us be here tonight for Dylan's Eagle Court of Honor. It's a very momentous occasion, and we should all be very proud of him. In the Lord's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I was not ready for that. Sorry.
We always Let's do this. Before this presentation begins, could I have Dylan Woodcock come up to talk about his Eagle project?
Yes. Hello, everybody. For my project, we actually had one of our troop members, David Ripley, build some benches for the church here. They asked me when I was about finished with all my merit badges if I would like to, for my project, stain the benches to preserve them from rain and sun and rot. And so I said, yeah. So we were able to get 27 of the benches built and lined them up in the back parking lot. I pressure washed them on my own, and then I had about 16 people come and help me out with staining all of them. Shout out to some of my friends from actually outside of Scotts who were able to come that couldn't make it today. I had, I think, Bailey, Carrington, and Alistair come and help me out. So thank you to all of you, especially who came and helped me out with that. I really appreciate it. A lot of people don't know how it feels to get that kind of support at your Eagle project until you actually do it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. We were able to do all 27 of them, and afterwards we set them out all across the church again, and we got a lot done with cleaning them and maintaining them and repairing them from damage prior. So thank you to everybody who helped it. I really appreciate it.
Will Scoutmaster Colonel Tom please come to the podium?
So we all know that Eagle Scout is the pinnacle of scouting, and it's very special. And because it's special, we have a unique special court of honor for Eagle Scouts. So on behalf of the Atlanta Area Council and the National Eagle Scout Association, it is my privilege and honor to declare this court of honor open.
Would the honor guard please escort Dylan Woodcock forward? We don't have an honor guard.
Yeah, my fault.
Honor guard. As we begin the Eagle Court of Honor for Dylan Woodcock and examine the trail to Eagle, it is fitting that we start with the fundamental principles of Scouting, the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. We have joined together in reciting the oath. Let us begin our ceremony by lighting the candles symbolic of the three parts of the Scout Oath: duty to God and country, duty to others, my fault. Duty to God and country, duty to others, and duty to self. Quick topic change. I remember for my court of honor, I had these two friends come over, mutual friends, Ben and David. I don't know how many of you guys have heard of them. And it was their first scouting event, any sort of ceremony. And afterwards, they come up to me and they're like, Jeremy, what is this chant ritual thing that you guys do before the Court of Honor started? And I was like, oh, that's our Scout Oath and Law. And they were like, what is that? I was like, well, those are principles that as Boy Scouts we're charged to live with through our daily lives. And they both said to me, I don't know if I told you this, and I am not exaggerating. They said they sat there, and as they walked through each word, they realized these are words Dylan lives by every single day.
Really?
Yes, they said that. They said, these are words Dylan lives by every single day throughout his entire life. So, that was just a quick story. The rules of scouting are found in 12 points of the Scout Law. I would ask Eagle Scout candidate Dylan Woodcock and Life Scout Parker Hembry to join me at the stage. As a candle is lit for each point in the Scout Law, let us pay careful attention to the words and rededicate ourselves to the principle contained in those words. Dylan? Yes. Please lead us in the Scout Law.
A Scout is trustworthy.
A Scout tells the truth. He keeps his promises. Honesty is part of his code of conduct.
Loyal.
A Scout is true to his family, friends, Scout leaders, school, nation, world, and community.
Helpful.
A Scout is concerned about other people. He willingly volunteers to help others without expecting pay or reward.
Friendly.
A Scout is a friend to all. He is a brother to other Scouts. He seeks to understand others, and he respects those with ideas and customs that are different than his own.
Courteous.
A Scout is polite to everyone regardless of age or position. He knows that good manners make it easier for people to get along.
Kind.
A Scout understands, treats others as he wants to be treated. He does not harm or kill without reason.
Obedient.
A Scout follows the rules of his family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of his community and country. If he thinks these rules are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobey them.
Cheerful.
A Scout looks for the bright side of life. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way. He tries to make others happy.
Thrifty.
A Scout works to pay his way and help others. He saves for the future. He protects and conserves natural resources, and he carefully uses his time and property.
Brave.
A Scout can face danger even if he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him.
Clean.
A Scout keeps his body and mind fit and clean. He goes around with those who believe in living by these same ideals. He keeps his home and community clean.
And reverent.
A Scout is reverent towards God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He respects the beliefs of others.
Thank you, Parker. It is through the values of the Scout Oath and Scout Law that a Scout works to become Eagle. I would like to invite Assistant Scoutmaster Opa Tom Schmelzer to come forward to discuss the Trail to Eagle.
We usually talk about the Trail to Eagle as being a steep path that leads up to the top of the mountain where we have a destination of the Eagle. And really, I like to talk about the Eagle as being kind of a long journey, and that this journey continues. It does have steps along the way, and Dylan had a really great idea. He was going to have some younger scouts that were trying to achieve different ranks along the way that we kind of look at as stepping stones to the Eagle. And he was going to have them talk, but they got bashful, so I'll do the whole thing. Anyway, the first step that we kind of move into on the Trail to Eagle is called the Scout rank. And the Scout rank, you have to memorize the oath and the law, which we just talked about. And you have to be able to explain that each point of that Scout law and what it means. And as we said, and as Jeremy really pointed out, it becomes the basis on which Scouts live their life. And those boys that kind of adopt that, we do it every day, every time we get together as Scouts, and it becomes really part of the fabric of what we do as Scouts. They learn the patrol method, which is kind of tantamount to what we do in Scouts. They learn to demonstrate the safety in using a pocket knife, which is really important to all Scouts. And once they learn those basic skills, then they have a Scoutmaster conference, and it gets reviewed, and they get their Scout badge, which is their first patch. And in our troop, they get to have a really cool. Oh no, that's later on. I get to do that. They get a real cool neckerchief, which has the troop emblem on the back. Because when they first move into the troop, they just get a plain old purple scarf. And you'll see later that they kind of value those. The Tenderfoot Scout is the next rank up. And they earn the Tenderfoot Scout rank. They have to camp out with the troop. They have to demonstrate their ability to kind of pack their own tent and so forth. And they have to learn about the outdoor code. They have to learn some basic first aid, some knot tying, and some practical personal fitness, because one of the things that we do with the Tenderfoot Scouts is that they have to learn how to kind of be physically fit, at least the beginning of that, start that practice. They learn, as I said, first aid and knot tying. They display the ability to raise the flag, lower the flag, and how to fold our nation's flag. Once they be able to demonstrate that, then they have, again, a Scoutmaster conference. And all these times they are working with their brother scouts to learn all these skills. The second class scout is the next rank that they earn. They demonstrate basic orienteering. For those of you who aren't scouts, orienteering is how to find your way from here to there. That was before we had these computers in our cars that told us where to go, and they had to learn that kind of the hard way. Like rubbing two sticks together or something. We use compasses and so forth. They have demonstrate those orienteering skills, being able to follow a course and pace off how far things were apart. They had to participate in 5 troop activities and patrol activities. They had to learn how to cook a meal outside in a patrol camp out, and they had to discuss the citizenship's respect for the flag. They had to be able to identify 10 wild animals, either by the evidence that they were here or actually demonstrate that they could find out where they were. They had to demonstrate the ability to lash. They had to be able to swim 25 yards, and they had to show their scout spirit. And then the scoutmaster had to sign off on that, and then they had to go through a conference. We call the first class scout, which is the next level. When a scout reaches first class, they're fully trained, we think, and they have to earn the first class by attending 10 patrol troop activities and cook at least 3 meals for the patrol and the camp out, demonstrate orienteering skills again, navigate a mile with map and compass, identify 10 types of native plants and foods found in the area. And this one is the one that gets a lot of boys, and that is they have to swim 100 yards. Ooh. It's hard for some boys. And this is one that there really isn't any way around it. I've had several boys that we've worked really hard to get them through that particular thing. But he demonstrated first aid for sprained joint. He didn't have a problem with that, though. Discussing the meaning of citizenship with local elected activities, and he showed scout spirit to have a scoutmaster conference and the board of review. Now, here's when I start getting interested in them, especially is when they start moving on to the merit badges, because the next rank is star. The star rank has an emblem which is a star, as you might expect, and it really exemplifies that these are kind of our star scouts, and they focus on leadership, and that's where Dylan and I kind of started to really come into his own. At that point in time, he kind of went through the program we call National NYLT, National Youth Leadership Training, and he really kind of, as I said, came into his own and really kind of represented the troop well and himself well in that experience, and we've really enjoyed watching him do that. As a Star Scout, in order to get his rank, he got first class in swimming and life-saving and personal fitness and art and space exploration. He then moved on after getting that rank and doing some leadership to Life Scout. In life, he focused on sit in the nations, sit in the world, citizenship in the world, communications, sign signals and codes, which is one of my favorites. You remember that one?
Yes.
And kayaking. We had a lot of fun on that one, didn't we? The trail then becomes really kind of serious because we start thinking about, what it is that you're going to be become an Eagle. It's a combination of all the things that you've learned up to this point. You're learning skills with your merit badges, and then you have this Eagle Project. People don't really understand what the Eagle Project is much unless you're really in the middle of it. As Dylan said, his project was to stain some benches. They weren't all done by Ripley, by the way. We had, 5 or 6 boys that had made benches over the course of the way. So there were multiple boys that had built benches as part of their Eagle projects. And we had them stained, but it really isn't about the product that the boys make. It really is about teaching them how to plan a project and then how to be leaders in that project. And I think you learned a lot in that, did you not?
Yeah.
I think that he really, I saw a lot of evidence of his leadership in that, where he was able to apply a lot of things that he learned at NYLT and so forth. And I'm really glad that I was able to be on that part of the journey with you. Thanks.
At this point, we'll hear from several speakers who have been instrumental in helping Dylan throughout his trail to Eagle. I would like to introduce Mr. Carlin, an ASM of Troop 2319 and Dylan's Film Op Crew Advisor.
Congratulations. It's been a long journey. I had the privilege of being one of the leaders of PAC 1714 years ago. A little kid about this big, about that big, yeah, would come up and introduce himself as Dylan Woodcock. About this tall, his hair was shorter than mine at that point, a long time ago. And it was a pleasure to get to know him and his family and his mom and his grandfather as they came on camping trips with us and experienced the beginning of the Scout Trail to Eagle. As a Tiger, you were always courteous and kind and friendly. Even before we used, I think at that time, Ken, weren't we using the old Cub Scout oath? So, and it was a great honor to be part of that journey with Mr. Sadakis, to bring you from Tiger up to Weeblo and up to Arrow of Light Scout. And since that time, it's been a pleasure watching you grow into a fine young man. You developed your leadership skills, you've developed your, still being courteous, still being kind, still being friendly, and helping lead the troop, or lead the crew out at Philmont. Mr. Leftwich does sense his regrets. He wishes he could be here too. But it was a great pleasure just to be out there and be without the distractions of the real world, and to go and test ourselves and watch you lead our crew through some tricky areas and some rain, some hail. So, but it's been a great pleasure to be with you and be on this journey with you, and I thank you for the joy you brought into my life as a Scout. Taisha, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
You've raised a fine young man.
Thank you.
With help from Grandma and Grandpa and aunts and all.
Our next speaker will be Opa Schmelzer.
I get to do this again. I must not have done it right the first time. When you do these things, you have to kind of go back in the memory bank and figure out what it is that really sticks in your mind about each of these boys. I think the thing that I remember most about Dylan is his smile. And also the fact that he and Jeremy and I always had a contest about who could grow their hair the longest. I told him that I had a problem because I was really, if I had gone back to 1969 in the Woodstock era, I have a picture that I could show them that I was pretty close, but I couldn't keep up with them now, But we always had fun talking about that. But it really has been a lot of fun because, I don't know if it was because I'm kind of the age of his grandfather or whatever it is, but Jeremy was always, whenever we went out on a camp out, he was always, Opa, can I help you put your tent up? Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? And it was always really kind of nice to have that happen because he'd be off doing some other things with the other boys and he'd check and see if I was okay, and it was really kind of nice to see. And that's just the kind of young man that he is. He kind of looks after other people and kind of a caretaker. It was a pleasure to work with him on his Eagle project. I was especially interested in his essay that he wrote in terms of what his plans are. I did not realize that he really wants to be in the Coast Guard, and that's one of his goals. I know we'll hear about more of that. I don't want to take any of that away from now, but I know that his Sea Scout is there. And the other thing that I really enjoyed is the fact that he's a band geek. And I'm a band geek also. He plays bighorn, and I used to work with the bighorns. I'm a trombone player, and he's a sousaphone player. So just remember that all these lessons that you learned are things that you'll take with you wherever you go, and value that, take it with you, put those lessons in your pocket, and they will always serve you well. Congratulations.
Scoutmaster Colonel Tom Welch is our next speaker.
So, one of my pet peeves is leadership. There's a lot of different types of leaders. There's some people that have very strong managerial skills, and there's some that have strong planning skills, and then there's some that are strongest in execution. And you have to have all three components. Dylan is known for marathon PLCs. He likes to plan things to intricate detail, but then sometimes those plans don't come to fruition. But the one thing that Dylan is really good at when it comes to leadership is mission accomplishment. Case in point, we're at camp, you know, and he's the senior patrol leader, and he's responsible for us earning honors and traditions. And some of his subordinates had let him down, and they hadn't accomplished the task. Dylan was up at 5 in the morning to go and make sure that that task got done and the mission got accomplished, because he will not fail. He's that leader that at the point of execution will make sure it's done, even if he has to do it himself. And that's sort of leadership I really appreciate. In 15 years as a Scoutmaster, I've always wanted to see one of my Eagles make it to a service academy, so maybe you can make it to the Coast Guard Academy and I can finally put that notch down. And you know, I will be proud to write that letter of recommendation, so good luck to you.
Now, it's my turn.
Oh no.
So, I've known Dylan for quite a while, almost 10 years, I think, at this point. And two things have stood out to me the most, knowing Dylan for this long. Colonel Tom touched on this one, his determination. Dylan does not care what he has to do, who he has to talk to, who he has to go through to get what he wants to get done. And it's one of the things I admire the most about him. Along with that, Dylan does not care what you think of him. He will do what he wants to do and needs to do without a second thought. He doesn't care what you say, what you think. All he knows is that he knows what he wants to get done, and he does it.
In a good way, right?
Sure. It's 50-50. Dylan, congratulations on getting Eagle. It's a really big accomplishment, and I'm glad to have known you along your journey. Mr. Hammerker, if I can invite you to the podium.
All right. Dylan, first of all, congratulations, and thank you very much for making me a part of this ceremony.
Absolutely.
I guess since I'm one of the last ones up here, everybody's already said pretty much, you know, Scout-O, Scout Law, he follows it, he lives it, so proud to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
A little bit about Scouts and Scouting. Of any 100 boys who become Scouts, it must be confessed that 30 will drop out in their first year. Perhaps this may be regarded as a failure, but in later life, all of these will remember that they had been Scouts and will speak well of the program. Of the 100, only rarely one will ever appear in a juvenile court in front of a judge. 12 of the 100 will have their first contact with the church, and one will enter the clergy. 18 of the 100 will develop hobbies that will last throughout their adult life. 17 will be future Scout volunteers. 8 of the 100 will enter a vocation that was learned through the merit badge system. 1 will use his scouting skills to save a life, and 1 will use those skills to save his own life. 2 of the 100 boys who enter the Scouts will reach Eagle rank, and at least 1 will later say he valued his Eagle above his college degree. I think that will be Dylan. You see, only 1 in 4 boys in America will become Scouts, but it is interesting to know that of the leaders of this nation, business, religion, and politics, 3 out of every 4 were Scouts. Today, we are likely seeing one of these leaders. What a proud moment for them and for us. This story will never end. Like the golden pebble of service dropped in the human sea, it will continue to radiate in an ever-widening circle, influencing the characters of men through unending time. Thank you.
Honor Guard. You guys, where are you guys? Will you please install Dylan's mother and grandfather to be seated on the stage? Eagle Scout candidate Dylan Woodcock please come forward? I speak for the Eagle Scouts of this council. We challenge these scouts to accept their responsibilities as well as the honor of the Eagle Award. These responsibilities are as follows. An Eagle Scout is to live with honor. His honor is sacred. It is the foundation of all character. An Eagle Scout will live so that he reflects credit upon his home, church, school, friends, and self. May the white of your badge remind you to live with honor. Please light the white candle of honor. An Eagle Scout is to be loyal. To your own self be true, and it must follow as the night follows the day. You cannot then be false to any man. Neither pain nor profit, pride nor personal loss shall sway his loyalty. The blue on your badge is the emblem of loyalty. Please light the blue candle. I'm sorry. An Eagle Scout is to be courageous. Courage gives character, force, and strength. With it, trust in God and faith in his fellow citizens. He faces each day unafraid and seeks his share of the world's work to do. Let the red of your badge remind you of courage. Please light the red candle of courage. Finally, an Eagle Scout is service-oriented. Extend a helping hand to those who toil along the Scouter trail you have just completed, just as others, how I'm sure, have aided you. The daily good turn must take on new meaning in your lives of pattern and service. Protect and defend the weak and the helpless. Comfort the unfortunate and oppressed. Uphold the rights of others as well as your own. Remember, real leadership is founded upon service. These then are the responsibilities you will take on as Eagle Scout. You deserve much credit for having achieved Scouting's highest award. But wear your award with humility, ever mindful that Eagle Scout is looked up to as an example more than anything else. May the Scout oath and law be your guide for today, for tomorrow, and forever. Eagle Scout candidate Dylan Woodcock, I have the honor of giving you the highest Eagle Scout charge on the occasion of the elevation to your highest rank in Scouting. The Scouts of all nations constitute one of the world's most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history. You have been judged by the Boy Scouts of America as being worthy of the highest rank in this great movement. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. Dylan Woodcock, I charge you to enter this Eagle Scout Brotherhood holding without reservation and ever before you the ideals of honor and service. By the repetition of the Eagle Scout promise before your fellow members, you'll become an Eagle Scout. Though the words you use are similar to the words by which you joined Scouting, today they will mean more than they have at any time in the past. When you pledge yourself on your sacred honor, you will be sealing your eternal loyalty to the code of the Eagle Scout with the words that have closed the Declaration of Independence. Please make the Scout sign. Scout attention. Dylan, repeat after me. I affirm my allegiance
I affirm my allegiance
to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
to the three promises of the Scout Oath.
I thoughtfully recognize
I thoughtfully recognize
and take upon myself
and take upon myself
the obligations and responsibilities
the obligations and responsibilities
of an Eagle Scout.
of an Eagle Scout.
On my honor,
On my honor,
I will do my best
I will do my best
to make my training an example
to make my training an example
and my status and my influence
and my status and my influence
count strongly
count strongly
for better scouting
for better scouting
and for better citizenship
and for better citizenship
in my troop,
in my troop,
in my community,
in my community,
and in my contacts with other people.
and in my contacts with other people.
To this, I pledge my sacred honor.
To this I pledge my sacred honor.
2. Scouts, you may be seated. Yes, you can say.
Scoutmaster Colonel Tom, would you please come up?
Well, it seems like you're not properly dressed, so we need to fix that. So there are three iconic symbols of the Eagle Scout. The first one is the Eagle patch, and since it's not Velcroed, it'll eventually go there. Fortunately, you're not yet 18, so you'll actually be able to wear it. I love NYLT neckerchiefs, but we're going to give you a better one. Okay. The second symbol is the eagle neckerchief. It's visible from a long ways away, and it's a symbol of excellence.
Unless your hair's too long.
The most iconic of them all is the Eagle Scout medallion. And with this, I will have you fully accoutramented as an Eagle Scout. I present to you. No one that makes Eagle Scout makes it by themselves. They have help along the way with scout leaders and others. But I think that the biggest supporter in your corner, the person who was there to really get you all the meetings and make sure it happened was your mother. So I would like you to please present this mother's pin to her in recognition for her sacrifices on your behalf.
So it's on the other side, Dylan, we can't see anything. There you go. Yay!
There were also several times where you needed a male role model in your life, and your grandfather was always there for you. And I would like you to present him with his grandfather.
Don't stick them.
Okay.
Oh.
And now we'll turn it over to you for your mentor pins.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Okay, so these didn't take much thinking because I've kind of known for a while. My first mentor pin, this person has kind of been with me since the very start. They have helped me get through a lot. One of the biggest ones was my largest journey in scouting, which was getting through Philmont Scout Camp, and this person has kind of helped me get through, he helped me get through every single inch of it. I really couldn't have grown as much of a person and done as well as I did without his guidance through every step of that. So, Mr. Carlin, I know you don't really need any more of these, but would you please come up?
I might not need them, but I'm very honored to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlin. And then this person's been with me through Scouts and in my life outside of it too. She's kind of followed me around everywhere, and there's a lot of things that I couldn't have made it through without her. There's a lot of opportunities I couldn't have gotten without this person in my life. She kind of says it herself. She's like I'm like her second son, and she's like one of my second mothers. She helps me get through a lot, and sometimes she doesn't know it, but really, yeah. Mama Corey, will you please come up? This is why I had you come in uniform, not your dress. This is your first one, isn't it? Am I done? Oh, okay.
Will honor guard please rise once again and escort Dylan's grandfather and mother off the stage?
It's bad idea. You can catch me, right?
We're gonna find out.
220 pounds. Can you handle it?
I think so.
I think so.
And I just ate it
for 7 weeks.
Thanks.
Once again, it is my honor to present to you 2319's newest Eagle Scout, Dylan Woodcock. You may be seated. Oh, never mind.
Dylan.
You stay up here.
Really?
I would like to call Mr. Carlin to present Dylan with his letters of recognition and additional items.
Mr. Erica?
Oh, sorry.
You don't do it?
No. Hey, wait. That's my fault. That's my bad. No, you're good.
The Commodore.
Yeah. I was waiting for okay. Commodore David Friedman for a special presentation.
Oh.
You didn't know about this.
I did not actually at all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My name is David Friedman. I'm representing the Coast Guard Auxiliary. I'm part of Ship 100. And my background, coming from New York originally, my wife and I just moved to Atlanta about a year ago. And I got involved with Ship 100. Only about 2 weeks ago did I find out that Dylan wants to go to the Coast Guard Academy. Probably one of the toughest schools in the country. There's also a program within the auxiliary called AIM, which is an opportunity to spend a week at the academy between the junior and senior year in high school and be a cadet. Now, I wasn't going to bring up the hair, since everybody else has. I kidded Dylan that once he goes to the academy, it's gone.
If you do it right, then I can have you so I can donate it afterwards. If you do it right.
I mean, there was a time when I did have some hair. When I was in the Army, it went. It is my pleasure to present you with a letter of commendation from the National Commodore of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And I wish you the best of luck. The Coast Guard Academy does not require a congressional appointment. It's all on merit. And it's real tough. Now, one of the speakers mentioned about scouts being, in the beginning, about 30 will drop out. At the service academies, it's a high percentage. So the only thing I can say to you is stay focused. And you've heard me say that before.
Yes, sir.
So good luck.
Thank you, Mrs. Freeman.
Now, I would like to call Mr. Carlin to present Dylan with his letters of recognition and additional items.
Are you sure it's
Do I stay up here too?
Of course.
Well, he
I mean,
has
I don't have to get
Oh,
this
right,
stuff.
yeah. No, I'll stay. You don't want it. Oh, man.
So we can cut your hair?
Not for a
Yeah,
while.
With a pocket knife?
You won't do it right with a pocket knife.
Kitchen shears?
I get to do the fun things. I get to present things to Dylan.
Once I start
The first would
lifting
be
this circle,
actually
we
his
can take
actual
that.
Eagle certificate that claims him to be an Eagle Scout. Congratulations.
Just want to make that. Whatever you decide.
And to impress the ladies, he can keep the Eagle Scout certificate in his wallet. And as it's been mentioned before, you didn't get here alone. There's a lot of rides to camps and to trips and to meetings and to wherever. So for your parents, your mom's car and your grandfather's, I'm proud of my Eagle Scout. This will be replaced soon when we add an S to it, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
On behalf of the Atlanta Area Council, this is a special Eagle Scout Recognition Challenge coin. It's only been in the last few years that Scouts have received this. Robert doesn't have one. So.
Oh, cool.
So congratulations on behalf of. On behalf of the troop, we have 2 gifts for you. One is something for you to keep your keepsakes for your. Here, go ahead. Give those back to Jeremy.
I have them back later.
Mm.
Really?
It's a keepsake box with the Eagle Scout symbol on the front. So this is where you put all your patches, your other neckerchiefs, everything else. Clean up your room, get the stuff in the box, right? Keep your memories there.
His room is probably the cleanest room in the house.
So this is a good place to keep your stuff. So. Put that right here. As you've seen, when a young man and young woman now become an Eagle Scout, it's a great honor. It's something they've earned and have strived, as in Dylan's case, since he was 10 years old, 11 years old. When Tiger
First grade.
First grade, yeah.
Yeah. And we let people know that when a young man in our troop has earned Eagle, and we have received letters of congratulations from around the country, including from the Atlanta Area Council, from presidents, from vice presidents, senators, House Representative officials, Jimmy Carter, including Jimmy Carter, the Clintons, and many more. They're still coming in, and so as the letters come in, we will pass them along to you. And then the final gift that we have for you is the troop has a flag flown over the United States Capitol for every Scout that earns Eagle. Dylan has requested his to be flown on 9/11, so as soon as it has been flown, we will present it to you at a meeting. So, congratulations.
Finally, at this point, I'd like to call Ms. Taisha Woodcock for a final reflection.
I'll stand at the podium too, but one thing that I did get for you, I got him the plaque, his name, Dylan Woodcock, A. Woodcock, okay? So you can add that to you. I started writing my speech right after your mom gave her speech. I was like, yeah, I know what I'm gonna say. I didn't finish my speech until this morning. And when I was done, I wanted to add something to his program to, reflect who he is. And if you look at the end of the program, there's a quote by Sir Robert Baden-Powell. But the real way to get happiness is giving out happiness to other people. And if you know Dylan, I think he exudes that. So, before I start talking about Dylan, I wanted to talk about Troop 2319. I'm not very good at writing thank you notes, so I want to express my thanks now. The saying that it takes a village to raise a child should never become cliche. You all here are part of our village, and for that I thank you. Steve Carlin, Nigel Andre, Ken Tadekis, from PAC 1714, and others have watched, encouraged, guided my sons from little tigers to where they are now in this troop. For that I thank you. Kevin Akers, Greg Lefwich, Paul Huey, and again Steve Carlin survived a 12-day hike at Philmont in New Mexico with Dylan as a leader. Very brave of them. The Davis family, the Huey family, Opa, Colonel Tom, the Shumperts, Andrew, Maggie, all of you Scouts, and so many of you have all had an influence in Dylan's life. Thank you for taking him to meetings when I was unable to, and thank you for your kindness, caring, and good-natured teasing. Who came up with the name Speed Bump after Dylan and a car collided? Too bad that name didn't stick.
I didn't think it was.
I also want to, of course, thank my parents, Papa and Nana Clark, Pawpaw couldn't wait to go camping with his grandsons, considering he has 3 girls. And he often became the unofficial photographer during events. And Nana has always been there to show her support and listen to his adventures. Dylan's aunties and his Uncle Rick, thank you all. And the biggest thanks to Corey Henry, or as Dylan calls her, Mama Corey. Thank you for loving my son like he is one of your own. Corey sends me reminder texts about important dates. Cannot survive without you. She introduced Dylan to Sea Scouts and takes him to meetings with Parker. Mama Corey is also a listening ear for him and gives him insight and guidance when he needs it. So thank you, Corey. And the Henry family. Thank you to everyone here. My apologies for not naming everyone, but please know that you have had a great impact on our family. It takes a village, and you are a part of our village. Now on to the young man we are honoring today. It's weird to just focus on one kid. For me, it's always Dylan and Devin. So Devin, don't worry, your turn will come soon enough. So here we go. About Dylan. While pregnant with Dylan, I took naming him very seriously. We agreed on Dylan, which in Welsh means son of the sea or born from the ocean. I love the ocean, and I had hoped that he would too. Now look at him. He's tried surfing, went scuba diving at age 12, enjoyed Sea Scouts, where he's learned how to sail. And now he wants to join the Coast Guard. I think that name fits him very well. Woodcock, well, not much we can do about that. But it is a coastal bird, so there's the connection to the water again. Unfortunately, the bird is known for not being the most intelligent, and thankfully, Dylan does not live up to that connection. But his middle name had to start with an A, which is a family tradition. And somehow I found the name Ajani. The Nigerian meaning is victor. And another African translation, Ajani means he who wins the struggle. I feel confident that I picked the right name for his personality. Dylan is a victor. No, he doesn't get every single thing that he sets his mind to, and nor should he. But when he wants something, I think, was it you? Yeah, it was you that said that. When he wants something, he focuses on it, and he goes for it. He puts in the work, he focuses on what he wants, he does his best, and he uses his losses as learning tools to improve for the next time. When he did his first Pinewood Derby race, everyone got a participation trophy, and he was so excited. But as he got a little bit older, he realized that he didn't earn it. He wanted a trophy that he had won. A few years later, his younger brother won a nice big trophy for the best in show with a Ghostbusters car. Dylan, still nothing. Well, that just added fuel to his fire. Finally, I think it was in his last year as a Cub Scout, he won second place in racing. He was victorious. He had his trophy. And FYI, Devin's Best in Show trophy is still bigger than Dylan's. But that's just one small example of how he lives up to his name. There have been struggles inside Scouts and in his personal life. He is victorious in most things, and he learns from the other challenges that he doesn't win in. Here's a little bit of information about Dylan and his scouting career. Dylan started his journey to Eagle Scout in 2012 by joining Cub Scouts in the first grade, just down the road at the old Mountain View. He has been an active member of Cub Scouts Pack 1714, Boy Scout Troop 2319, and Sea Scout Ship 100. He currently holds the leadership position of Senior Patrol Leader. And Boatsman?
You were close. Bosun?
Bozeman?
Bozeman.
It's spelled Boatswain, so I never get it right. Or as I called it, the captain in Sea Scouts, and earned the ordinary rank this July. He is also part of the Order of Arrow and has gone through the Boy Scout National Youth Leadership Training, earned the National Outdoor, don't quiz me, earned the National Outdoor Award and numerous badges. Dylan has participated in attending Cub Scout and Boy Scout camps every summer since joining when possible. In 2021, along with members of Troop 2319, Dylan went to Philmont, New Mexico to hike over 60 miles in 12 days. not me. He was the Philmont crew leader for the troop. As part of Sea Scouts, Dylan has taken advantage of Sea Scout Experience Advanced Leadership in Training, called SEAL, in Tennessee just a few weeks ago. For a week, he and a handful of others canoed 68 miles along the Tennessee River for about 9 days, camping and going through one of their lock systems, all the while receiving world-class leadership training. The experiences he has had through scouting have been unbelievable in my opinion, and they have helped to shape who he is today. When I went to pick Dylan up from Tennessee at the end of the SEAL training, the leaders of the program asked, "Has he ever met a stranger?" I laughed and said, "Apparently not," and I think he gets it from his grandfather, my dad. I told him that wherever we go, he says hello to everyone and asks how they are doing. The leaders laughed and told me that he does that on land and on the water. And that's the kind of guy he is. I don't know if the Philmont crew from last year picked up on this, but Dylan will ask anyone he comes across how their day is. Imagine hiking in the Grand Canyon. So before he got to Philmont, we went on a cross-country trip, going through the Grand Canyon, arches, all those big spots. And here's Dylan, smiling and saying to strangers, "Hey, good morning, how are you today?" All the time. Me personally, I just give smiles and head nods to people. He engages with everyone. I asked him why, because it actually drives me crazy when he does this. He said, "What if someone is having a hard day or is down for whatever reason, and me saying hello to them and asking them how they are is the kindest they needed to make their day better?" So how could I argue with that? So I just let him do his thing, and that's really how he lives. Y'all, I just let Dylan do his thing. Because as Jeremy pointed out, when Dylan wants something, Dylan goes for that thing. That's how he got Target, his job at Target. All the time. All the time. I'm like, dude, leave them alone. They'll call you back if they want. No, he calls people. If he wants something, he's like, "Can I ask Pop-Up if he'll take me to Alabama?" I'm like, "I don't think Papa wants to take me." He's like, "Can I ask him?" Like, do whatever. And yep, ask. You never know. You gotta ask. If they say no, they say no, right? But this is who he is. So what you see here during meetings is who he is in every day. This is who he is, and I believe that he does impact people's lives through his behavior. I often get compliments from parents in this troop about how friendly and helpful Dylan is to new scouts and to everyone. I really don't know how to take it because there has been nothing that I can think of that I've done to make him this way. He's just a friendly, caring guy, young man, that I thank God for giving me. He and Devin have often been recognized in their packs as Cub Scouts and in this troop for always being helpful, for staying to make sure the job is done. While I'm the one rushing them because Chick-fil-A closes at 9:30 and we need to get dinner or else it's going to be cereal. So, in closing, and I really, Jeremy, thank you for sharing what your friend said about Dylan, because this is really reflects and shows what I'm about to say about Dylan. I want to share how scouting affects him on a daily level. I forget what conversation he and I were having one day regarding scouts, but what he said stuck with me. Dylan told me, "You know how most scouts will look at the scout law and ask themselves what laws did they accomplish that day and check it off? Well, at the end of the day, I ask myself, what scout laws did I miss? And then I work on making sure that I meet those that I missed." Thank you. I'm very proud of you.
Parker Hembry, if you would come and lead us in closing benediction. Devin Woodcock, if you would come and lead us in closing benediction.
The scout is reverent. Everybody bow your heads. We're starting the prayer. Lord, guide Dylan through the rest of his life and let him stick with how he is, and let him continue to use everything from Scouts and on his way to Eagle for the rest of his life until the day he dies. Lord, keep him safe and let him continue being who he is. In Jesus, in the Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Dylan, every time I see you, and I don't care how bad of a day I'm having, you always, you make me smile, always. And you bring this energy to every room you're in, no matter if it's a ginormous room with tens and tens of scouts on a Monday night, or if it's just a classroom, and you just walk in and everybody starts smiling. Thank you for everything.
Thanks for having me.
The Eagle Card of Honor for Dylan Woodcock is now closed. Would you please take... Would you please take charge of the troop and retire the colors?
Color guard post. Color guard forward march. Scout attention. Color guard retrieve the colors. Scout salute. Color guard retire the colors. Color guard retire the colors. Two. Jeremy. Yeah.
Court of Honor's done. There was some food back there that has been teasing me this entire time.
There's a lot of food for everybody.
So we would like to invite everybody to the back of the room for refreshments and food afterwards. Thank you for coming.
Yes, Scouts, let the guests go first, please.